Hey guys, sorry for the long time. Thank you for clicking on my video. Uh, this video did take a while to make, and I know I'm probably like a month late though, but I did run into some story writing issue and also some issue with the video editing software I was working with. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail with that though. That took a while. But anyways, I'm gonna try something a little new. The gameplay after this intro is the Gran Turismo 1 gameplay, which I was able to find online to play though. It's something new I could try, something new that you guys can have fun with, and it's just something I overall want to try. But anyways, here's my new story, Gran Turismo, the found disc. So the new movie Gran Turismo is coming out, I see. I think it might be a good movie. I used to love the games when I was a kid, but I'm not here to do one of those movie reviews on YouTube. Anyways, my name is Mark. I'm actually here to tell a story about something that occurred to me recently. Like I stated before, I loved the game Gran Turismo. When I was a kid, I used to actually beg my mom to buy those games all the time. But anyways, it all started with spring cleaning, so to speak. When I went up to clean the attic at my old childhood home, my wife and I already were homeowners, but because of the recent passing of my parents, we were to take all the belongings in the house and either sell it or keep it all. But it's sad that we have to sell the old place. It would be nice to take it. I thought it would be nice to take the place all to ourselves though, something just to recreate new memories with. But knowing my wife, she said that I don't think we can even afford to buy the house after we even sold ours. So she reasoned to sell it. We can make extra cash off of it, I guess, but at that point, I couldn't really argue. But we should get to the interesting part. So I was in the attic for cleaning, and it was the last part of the house we didn't search. But when digging around, I found my old PlayStation 1 for when I was a little kid. As I picked it up, I swam in the ocean of nostalgia, and I remembered those past childhood memories from playing the second Resident Evil game to the Crash Bandicoot series, and even my most favorite game, the Gran Turismo racing games. But to an unfortunate end, all the games were gone. I began to search the whole attic for the games, but that's when I found a note from my ma. It read, "Dear Mark, I am so sorry to say I gave all of your old games away and I thought you didn't want them anymore. So I gave them to the neighborhood kids and that still had that old PlayStation machine they had. But they have all moved out since. But I did leave you behind your machine up in the attic. Love your mom and many kisses." I don't understand why the letter was left up in the attic, but my mother probably forgot to set the letter at the front door near it. Anyways, after I read my letter, my wife called from below and asked if everything was there or if there's anything we need or if everything was accounted for. I yelled yeah back. And as I descended the ladder, my wife asked what I was holding in my arms, and I replied with my old childhood PlayStation that I had when I was a kid. And what's funny is that I later found out she used to have one too. Although she didn't play the same games as I did, but completely understandable. She said it was cool and wondered if we could play any games on it. And I told her no, and that sadly the games were given away. We put the rest of the junk in storage where we might move some in the house or just sell it or keep it in storage. But that would be saved for tomorrow. When my wife and I finished watching a movie after we got back from a long day of searching, she went to bed and I surfed the internet for some old PlayStation games for nostalgia purpose. And would you believe it when I saw my old Gran Turismo disc on eBay? I knew it was mine because I saw my initials on it. I put my initials in case for when my mother would throw it away. My mother's always told me that if I didn't put my name on it, it would end up in the trash. It was kind of silly though, now I think about it. Anyways, I took no time hesitating and bought the disc right away and went to bed with my wife. The next morning I got ready for work and drove there. But on the way there, I saw a disheveled old-looking man shuffling down the road. When he looked at me, his eyes got wider and he just started running. In my mind, I thought it was just a normal homeless man just being afraid, you know? But something kept itching in my brain for some reason. That guy looked really familiar. I mean, like, so familiar it bothered me the whole day. But I moved on with the day and arrived at work. The day felt slow, and finally, when time came up, I zoomed to the front door and checked out real fast. But that's when I stopped and saw my car passenger window busted open and the glass was everywhere. I was real furious and yelled at whoever did this would pay. But that's when I also noticed the old CD for Gran Turismo was sitting in my car in my passenger seat, like it was waiting for me. Along with the item, there was a note written on a piece of paper that read, "Are you sure you want to take this? If not, you could just leave it here and save yourself some time." I was dumbfounded at the note and just thought, well, that's stupid, and just threw it away and took the game without a second thought. And I thought to myself, I'll take my car to the auto shop next morning anyways, it'll be alright. I drove home and I could have sworn I saw a pair of eyes alongside the road though. At least I think they were eyes. It's hard to tell though with the darkness. But I parked the car in the driveway and headed inside the house where I greeted my wife and she looked at me with concern and pointed at my car. I told her everything and she just told me to keep an eye next time, as she doesn't want to lose her teddy. It's a weird gimmick that we have, a nickname she calls me. But we ate supper and I kissed her goodnight. She asked what I was going to do. I told her I'm going to try the new disc and see if it works fine. She can go to bed. And with her being tired, she wanted to join, but I reasoned with her that you're too tired and you're not going to be able to stay up. So she agreed, we went upstairs and went to bed. That's when I went to the living room and tried to play my old Gran Turismo game. At first, the game wouldn't start until it finally started with the old familiar intro that I'm used to. But when I took a closer look at the background, I saw a little shadowy figure, either in the stands or in the open field, super far out. I just thought it was a glitch, so I ignored it. That's when I thought the fun began. Or so I thought. I really should have seen this nightmare coming sooner. When I started, I picked my favorite racetrack, which was Trail Mountain, because of the tall, beautiful mountains that I would see alongside the road. Also, it reminds me of a vacation spot we used to go to all the time. It's nice. But as I clicked the map, it froze a little. But I thought it was just my PS1 being old and taking a while to read. That's when finally I was jumped into the game, and the game instantly read, 3, 2, 1, go. And that's when I pushed the gas pedal quickly and got to first. That's when I zoomed past the cars and I got to first so fast. I guess I still have it in me. But as I was driving, I still saw that figure standing out in the open field, and that's when I freaked out and restarted the map just to see if it really was a glitch. I kept on trying again, but as I was restarting it, I noticed the figure kept on getting closer. And that's when I just continued to the track, and when I came to a turn where the trees were along the track to make like a tunnel, the figure was there in the middle of the road. As I drove closer to it, it made a loud noise. It made me jump. I turned the TV down just a little, but as I ran into it, I noticed too in my panic that I saw a picture of a NASCAR crash. Like the vehicle looked completely upside down and completely wrecked. But when I loaded into the map, though, it looked the same, but this time it was much, much darker. And instead of one of those figures, there was multiple along the road and in the stands, as far as I could tell. But no matter where I drove, they seemed to look at me no matter which direction I was at. I should mention that there were no AI drivers anymore running around, but I could still hear them though, which was weird because there was no drivers passing by me. But I chose to race around the track, and as I completed laps, I would say 3 more laps until surprise, 2 more laps until surprise, 1 more lap until surprise. But with each lap, it just seemed to get more darker and harder to tell. And the more of those shadow figures appeared alongside the road, getting closer and closer. I couldn't tell by the dark though, but when I finished the race, they made the TV screen go dark, and a pixelated photo of a race crash victim. God, his face though. I couldn't stop thinking about it ever since then. His face was just all mangled and you could not see it anymore. But that's when text ran across it. And a loud, loud scream came across it as well. The text read, as far as I could read, "Why did you cover me up?" over and over and over. But after a while, my TV turned off. But during my panic, when the scream came on, I jumped and I ended up pulling the console where, when it fell over, the case fell out and got crushed by the PS1. Now it was unplayable. I can't go back and either record it or tell what I witnessed. And I know it sounds anticlimactic, but it's the truth. And my wife got up from the loud noise and asked why the PS1 was on the ground and why was I holding a broken disc. I later told her the story and she found it a little unbelievable, but I guess due to the loud noise, she had to believe me, right? Later she told me to go to bed and we'll deal with it tomorrow. I woke up the next morning and did a little digging of my own. I later found out that guy's name was Matt Robinson, which was going to be the new driver for the Napa number 9 car for Chase Elliott, before Chase Elliott actually. But further digging concluded that Matt Robinson got into a terrible crash and that ended his career. There's no crash footage on the internet or nothing though. Anything as that matter. I even checked the roster for previous Napa racers and his name wasn't there. The only evidence I got was a small piece of newspaper clipping I found inside the case, which I guess is the only surviving piece of evidence. The paper was stuffed cleverly behind the game cover and the video game case. I knew that the game case looked a little weird as well. But why was all that information put into a game disc of Gran Turismo? It just makes no sense. But also, I realized too that the initials on there were really close to mine. MR, which that's my initials too. I'm not giving any more info on my name. I never thought to fix the disc or chose to throw it away. And also I finally figured out who that guy was. It was my old childhood friend from a long time ago. I thought he died 5 years ago, at least that's what the news stated. But I don't know, maybe he's out there somewhere. Anyways, I hope you find my tale believable though, in some form of way. Thanks for listening to my story, and I really hope you have a good day. Just make sure not to get any discs that seem strange or come out in the middle of nowhere. Alright guys, that was Gran Turismo, the found disc. I just want to, let me pull up your name real quick. I want to thank, let's see, where are you? Hold on, I'm finding you. I want to thank you to xlays1934 for the suggestion. Anyways, thank you again for the suggestion. I'll put your name in the title and also into the I'll also put you into the video as well. But thank you for listening to my video, and I hope you have a good night, a spooky night.